So we're just going to real quickly, guys, show you how to not so much plot a graph on your calculator, but rather when you've plotted a graph either by hand or by Google Sheets, which won't spit out the equation for you, won't spit out the slope and the y-intercept for you, how you can get that y-intercept and that slope real easily on your calculator. This is a real useful skill as well, Caden, for your diploma exam. You will get a question on your diploma exam. You will for sure get a graphing question where you're going to need the slope to do something. Now, I don't know what it's going to look like. I don't know whether it's going to be a sine theta 2 versus sine theta 1, or 1 over f, 1 over di versus 1 over do, or whatever the case may be. You're going to use the same analysis in order to find what you need to find, and almost certainly you're going to need to use a slope to do that. So what's that nice convenient way of getting the slope without actually drawing a line of best fit and calculating the slope the old-fashioned way, which that method leaves a little bit to be desired because it depends upon how good your line of best fit is, right? And how good you are at reading the exact points off the graph. So go into your calculator, go into stat. Okay, first one, stat. It's always stat here. Go into edit because we want to enter some data here. You can see that when I go into stat, I've already got data entered. Okay, this is some data that I had from a graph that I did before. I want to delete that because that's not the data that I want anymore. So what I'm going to do is go clear. I'm going to highlight the first column there at the top, go clear, and then go down here. All of a sudden, my first column is gone now. I'm going to go up here to L2. That's column 2. Clear. Go down here. Column 2 is gone now. Now let's enter some data for my new graph that I want to plot. Okay, I'm going to enter 5 points here. Okay, I've got 0.6, 1.2, 1.8, 1.8, 1 point, one of these days that's going to work, 1.8. We got 2.4, and we've got 3. Okay, that's random data that I made up. Okay, but obviously when you're plotting your graph, doing your thing, you're going to use the data that you actually collected. My second column I've got here 2.5. I don't like those numbers. 2.5. Let's go 5. Let's go 7.5. 10. And 12.5. There's my data table. Now, I'm not trying to plot a graph here to see what the graph looks like. You've already done that on Excel or on Google Sheets or by hand or something. What I want to get is the numbers out of this, the analysis from this. So I'm going to go into stats again. Remember, I went into stat edit. This time I'm going to go into stat calculate, stat calc. And then I'm going to go down to option 4. Option 4 says linear regression. What it's going to do for me is essentially internally plot a line of best fit and then calculate the slope of that line of best fit. Press enter. Press enter again. We're not going to see the graph, but we are going to see the equation from the graph. Y is equal to ax plus b. We usually say y is equal to mx plus b, right? Same thing. They're just calling the slope a instead of m here. What's the slope of this graph? 4.17. What's the y-intercept of the graph? 0. So it's okay if you're plotting a graph on Excel or on Google Sheets, it's okay from here on out if you get the slope this way. Okay, just tell me you've done that so that I know you didn't make up a slope, okay? Just say from calculator, slope equals 4.17 or whatever the case may be. Does that make sense? Again, this method is useful when you do an activity like you did today, but it's especially useful when you get that diploma exam when you're not going to have Microsoft Excel to do it for you, right? You're going to have to either do it by hand or with your calculator. I don't know about you, but the calculator thing works for me. Okay? A, I think it's easier. B, you're going to get the exact answer that they expect. The exact answer that they expect versus a number that's slightly off of what they expect because your line of best fit wasn't perfect or whatever the case may be. Okay?